I'm sitting in there in the big chair, one of the big chairs, and the TV is up here on the wall, and I'm watching it.
A minute to go. 12 seed Belmont with a 4-point edge, looking to topple the 5 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Madison Barkley went up and got a rebound, just like that, and pulled it down. And I knew when she got that rebound, hey, we can win this game. We belong there.
It's a first for Belmont. Their first ever tournament win.
It's as close as I could get to him, and I just reached out and I hugged the TV. And that night, Hummel, Bart Brooks, he soon be with all those players, and 2x2 that came up and they thanked me for starting the program.
So in order to understand Betty's story and the larger Belmont story, you first have to understand
Betty didn't have the opportunity to play and go to college.
she is growing up in Portland, Tennessee, in a rural area, more than a decade before Title IX.
I'm a little farm girl at heart, and I loved working with my dad. I can drive a tractor, I can milk cows, anything a man can do. Well, you know, I really never thought about sports growing up until about the 7th grade when, I found out I could put that ball in the basket.
Betty, she was really good.
She was so good in junior high that the varsity coach came down and asked her if she would play varsity.
So I played for the high school 5 years instead of 4. I had a great career, but that's all it was for girls back then.
At that time, the AAU had a women's basketball league that essentially doubled as Team USA.
I signed a contract during my senior year to play with this semi-professional team, and I had 30 days to break the contract. In the meantime, I got to know about Belmont.
She thought about it, she prayed about it, and it was an extremely difficult choice.
What was that decision?
To come to Belmont, to pursue a degree in teaching and coaching, probably at a high school. Little did I know that I would spend the rest of my life at Belmont, my home, my family. It's pretty cool.
She's really the mother of women's basketball in the state of Tennessee.
She dedicated her life to providing the next generation of women the opportunity that she didn't have.
We were family from the beginning.
Betty blazed that trail before it actually was law.
All right, we're gonna jump in.
Okay.
Jump into those memories.
Hi there, I'm Maddie Yoakley. I was Maddie Spicer in 1968 when I met a wonderful person that was the coach at Belmont College. The first ever women's basketball team, not just for Belmont, not just for Nashville, but in the South that competed other than AAU, and that was Betty Wiseman.
Even before she graduates, Dr. Gabhart, the president at the time, asked her to stay on the faculty as a full-time instructor for physical education and health.
And it was in the spring of that 66 when I went in his office, and I said, Dr. Gabhart, I want to start a basketball team.
When you get to know Betty, you don't doubt that she can do what she says she's going to do.
She's in her mid-20s as a female, sitting down with a college president, asking to start a basketball program.
I'm going to tell you something. God's given me confidence. I was never intimidated.
She made her case, and he said, Betty, I think that's a great idea, but we don't have any money.
I said, I'll do it as frugally as I possibly can. Goodness gracious, what have I gotten into? I mean, it was a hot topic.
The girls that were on the team, when we walk in the gym and you look around and you see people that you played against. Everybody looking at each other wondering, okay, so you're here. But Coach Betty made us feel like we were sisters.
The first thing was to instill in them, if we were going to play, we were going to do it the right way. Nobody was going to beat us up and down the court, and nobody was going to work any harder than we did.
She had to play semi-pro, semi-collegiate teams because there was nowhere else to play in the state of Tennessee.
We traveled in 2 station wagons. We had 2 players in each back seat who traveled backwards.
Imagine driving in a station wagon going from here to Iowa. You really get to know each other very well when you're riding distances like that.
That was the foundation, and we were going to have fun doing it.
We talk about Betty, and she is this warm, loving, caring person, but I'll tell you what, she was a fierce competitor.
Betty coached and played on her first team, so she did ultimately fulfill her goal of playing collegiate basketball.
We were happy. It was like we were getting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Although this Belmont team has been plagued with injuries, they have risen to the challenge against a tough schedule. Belmont sparked by player coach Betty Wiseman, who ripped the courts for 21 points, finishing 13-2 in just their second season. The future looks bright for these girls, who deserve much credit for getting the program started.
It was perfect. It was almost too perfect.
The second year we were down in Mississippi, we stopped at a restaurant in a small town.
Sitting in the restaurant, we're talking, my roommate and I, and 1 or 2 others. And then one of the girls that Coach know.
Coach Wiseman, they're not serving Maddie and Pete and Shoma.
The waitress came over and Coach asked, was there a problem? And the waitress said, we don't serve them here.
She just looked at me and I said, go get your manager. I'm getting fired up by that time.
The manager repeated that, we don't serve them. What did Coach do?
And I put my finger in his chest and bumped him with my finger, and I just let it go. And I said, this is wrong. And if you don't serve that table, you don't serve any of us.
Like a choir director, let's go. So we left. That not only let us, but let our team members know, Coach is not about foolishness. She's not.
I have a responsibility for the person in front of me that's under my care. And so I think it's a piece of our history that's a foundation of who we are today. Family.
Growing up, nobody ever told me that I couldn't play a sport. No one ever told me I couldn't play in college. It's because of people like Betty who had helped blaze that trail before it actually was law.
It was women like Betty who were the change agents on the ground. They made all the difference.
Title IX ought to have Betty Wiseman's name or picture whenever you mention it, because she was getting it done her way, which is with class and dignity and sportsmanship.
She had a vision for what this could be, but more than anything, she had a passion for the people that she could impact.
I was at the beginning. I know how it was, and I know how we struggled, and I know who got us to where we are today.
Betty created a culture. We're going to do things in a Christ-like way. We're going to do things the right way here. We're not going to do things like other people do it. We're going to do it the Belmont way, and that's Betty's way.
The Belmont way is this toughness, this resiliency, this persistence to continue to work hard, to continue to do it with joy and gratitude.
And it just became an influence on all of us that that's the way we were supposed to run the thing.
She's the foundation. It didn't crack at all.
A lot of places have girls that come in and think they're going to be program changers. But here, it's build. I'm going to build.
Not only did she do it at Belmont, she took that to other countries all over the world.
I thought I wanted to play basketball. I gave it up to go to Belmont. God gave basketball back to me as a team. I gave it up so that the program could move forward. What did God do? He gave it back to me in the form of sports ministry.
What she's done since retiring as a coach is a greater part of her legacy. She started the mission trips.
A lot of times when I ask the former student athletes, what's your most memorable
experience at Belmont, they say the mission trip.
Seeing the impact she not only has on our team here in Nashville, Tennessee, but on the lives of children and the people of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Her effect is universal.
You know, I can tell you those stories, but I cannot tell you scores of basketball games. I want to do that wherever I am.
Three-point lead for Belmont, second overtime. Prince is going to have to heave it to tie, and it caught the back iron. And Belmont, in double overtime, has pulled another upset.
The parable comes true. You get to reap what you sow. And she sowed the right sorts of things, and today we're reaping all the benefits of that.
Our current women's basketball players understand how they got to where they are today.
It's hard to measure what her impact has been and continues to be on the players and the staff in this program.
The way this Belmont women's basketball program is building, like the sky is the limit.
She is always a part of this team.
My name is Betty Wiseman. Now I'm known as Belmont Betty. And I started something really special with a real purpose and meaning. And maybe the best is yet to be.